tea happens to be one of my absolute favorite notes in fragrance. So does everyone need 40 tea fragrances? No, you do not. Do I have 40? Yes, I do. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Aleisha Budget Beauty. My name is Aleisha. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, dedicated fragrance videos to different categories like tea, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. All right, you guys. In my defense, which there's really probably no defense for 40 tea fragrances, I didn't know I had 40. I knew I had a lot. I thought I at least had 25, maybe close to 30. But when I set out to do this video, which I've been saying for a while, I'm going to do a tea fragrances video. The reason why I kind of kept putting it off is it takes a while to go through your collection when you have a large collection like mine, to get it all out, to sort it out. And so I finally did it and I realized I have 40. Which is a lot. So let me just say this and get this out of the way. 40, it's not aspirational to have that many fragrances. This is something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's now kind of become a job for me. So the norm though out there, do not need that many tea fragrances. So don't let this overwhelm you. Don't let it make you feel like FOMO or anything like that. But I'm going to talk about these 40 that I have. Now, because there are so many, this isn't going to be as in-depth as sometimes I get into my other videos. I'm going to just try to keep it as short and sweet as possible with kind of giving you an idea of what the different fragrances are like, because there's a lot of different tea styles out there and different tea notes. You have a green note, a white tea note, you have Rooibos, you have oolong sha. There's a ton. Okay, so matcha. All right, so we're just going to get right into it, so this video won't be 20 hours long, and maybe this will help you find your perfect tea fragrance. All right, let's go ahead and start with these 5 travels that I have that have a tea in them. So I have 2 samples that I wanted to talk about. So not full sizes on all these, but most of them are. I have 2 samples and 5 travels, and then the rest are full size bottles. I also have a tea fragrance on the way that I ordered. It is the House of Oud, and it is the Thyme, and it is a beautiful bottle. It'll be my first egg. If you know, you know. The caps are these gorgeous ceramic eggs, and I chose that one because I almost can guarantee if it's tea that I'm gonna like it. I've yet to find a tea fragrance that I absolutely hate. I'm sure there's one out there. So let's start with these travels though. First up, let's talk about Guaribea. This is by House of Oubliette. I've spoken about this one a few times. I took it on my trip to Florida this summer because this is primarily a really creamy coconut musk, but there's also this beautiful tea note in here that gives it a serenity to it. This is the fragrance I wore flying back from Florida because I don't love flying. I wanted something really comforting, and that's what I chose was Guaribea by House of Oubliette, and I think it's still sold out on the website. Small little indie brand that I adore. Okay, next up is Brown Girl Jane's High Tea. Now this is newer to my collection. I had this in a video where I talked about new fragrances, and I was a little bit disappointed in this one. It just wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, and it's still not quite there. So I don't dislike this fragrance. It's just not my favorite of the Brown Girl Janes. I wish this one is chai tea in this one. So I do get it a little bit, but I wish the chai tea stood out just a little bit more. Instead, it kind of comes across as like almost like a musky vanilla with something slightly gourmand going on in the background. And I just wish the tea, because I'm such a tea fiend, stood out more in that one. But I do think it's a nice fragrance. Then we have Mudo Worthy, and this is a vanilla scent with, I believe, either green tea or matcha. If I stop to look everything up, you guys, it's going to take me forever. But I love this fragrance so much. This is one that when I run out of the travel, I have to have a full size of it. There's something about it that kind of gives me a little bit of Kilian's Princess vibes, but not completely. It's more vanilla than that. and it's just really, really beautiful. This is one that I really enjoy going to bed wearing. There's a lot of tea fragrances I think are so nice for going to bed, but then there's some that are kind of energizing that I will talk about in a minute. Okay, this is a travel, a decant actually that I got from Decant X. That's a great decant site, you guys. They have mainly high-end niche fragrances, but they also have some designer and I think some Middle Eastern, but it's mainly like a niche fragrance site. And this is Oolong Shaw, and I actually have a full size coming on the way. So I did order a full size of this. This is by Nishane. Some people pronounce it Nishane, and I believe it is Turkish, and it's actually pronounced Nishane with a little ch in it. But I digress. This is Oolong Shaw, and it is a Oolong Shaw tea fragrance with citrus. It's really beautiful. It's a little bit more earthy and green smelling, whereas some of those last ones have more like vanilla going on and musk. This is more of an earthy citrus tea, and sometimes that's what I want. I don't always want the cozy one. Sometimes I want one that's kind of energizing. I would call this one more of an energizing tea fragrance. And they also, I think tea is one of those, it can be worn year round as well. There's some that are very like summer-like, and then some that are more like wrap up in a blanket in the winter time. So next up we have Matcha Meditation, and I'll try to keep this story short. This is by Replica, or Maison Margiela Replica Matcha Meditation. This is I've ordered 2 of these because the first one that came in, I thought matcha aware. It smelled like white chocolate, sweet, had nothing matcha in it whatsoever smelling to me. It was like the sweetest fragrance I had ever smelled, and it smelled good, but I'm like, it's not supposed to smell like this, I don't think. So I ordered a second one, a travel. It came in, exact same smell. And I'd heard this be kind of described as this really earthy, powdery, green matcha with a little hint of something like white chocolate in the background. And I thought I just got fooled. Like I bought ones that aren't the real thing. As this has set for almost a year now, I think, I can finally smell that sort of powdery, earthy matcha in here, but it's still a pretty sweet fragrance, I think. This one's very cozy, very beautiful. Really a shame they discontinued it because it's an excellent fragrance. All right, this is London Fog by Julianna's Perfumes. I have several videos on Julianna's Perfumes. This is a site that does inspired by with enhanced notes sometimes fragrances combined, and then he also has his own unique blends. But London Fog is a dupe of Gris Charnel, BDK's Gris Charnel. And actually, while we're at it, let me just grab my Liam Gray by Lattafa, because this is another one here. This has since been acquired by my husband. I had a feeling he would like it a couple weeks ago, so I went and sprayed it on myself and said, what do you think about this? And his face, I could tell. Like when he kind of likes something, he's like, it's okay. When he doesn't like something, he goes, oh. And then this, he was like, that smells amazing. So I let him have it, but I grabbed it for this video. Both of these are dupes of the same fragrance. This is this beautiful, kind of foggy, softly smoky, not like, don't think like charred smoke, but like more like a fog smoke, if you will, with the tea and the fig. And it is kind of masculine in a way, but it is one that women really enjoy wearing. A lot of my friends love this as well. My fragrance friends that are girls love this fragrance. It's sexy. It also has this incredible lasting power. The Lattafa does, Liam Gray, where it just kind of sits on the clothes and gets better and better. He wears scrubs to work, and I washed his scrubs the next day. I put them up, and I could smell this like beautiful aroma coming from it. And it was this really, really light still on his scrubs after like 24 hours, and it smelled incredible. This is a very inexpensive fragrance that is so freaking good. And London Fog also is beautiful. It has a very, very similar vibe. I mean, they're going for the same fragrance. I do not think that they're exact though. I think this one has a little bit more earthiness to it, while the Lattafa has a little bit more sweetness to it. So I think this one's slightly more masculine, but from far away, you're probably going to think they smell the same. Okay, while I'm on the Julianna's perfumes, we have Miss Independent with Rum Drizzled Apples. Oh my goodness. I wore this to bed last night and I was just like, it doesn't get much better than this. This is a combination of Killian's Princess and Apple Brandy together. So you have this kind of tart apple vibe going with the really cozy sweet tea. And this kind of is just like a cloud of fall goodness in a bottle. It almost tastes like you could eat it, but it's not so far in the gourmand where it doesn't have any class or sophistication. It is very classy, very sophisticated, slightly boozy. So it's like you are eating like a caramel apple and having a tea with a little that's spiked a little bit. It is so gorgeous, you guys. I think it's one of Julianna's Perfumes' best like combo fragrances. Then also by Julianna's Perfumes, we have Miss Independent. Now this one is just a straight Killian's Princess dupe, and it's also really, really gorgeous. This is more princessy, obviously, duping Killian's Princess, but it's just a little bit more demure smelling, a little bit sweeter, softer, kind of smells like you were having your tea and biscuits, and you've got like the nice linens and like your cute little like doilies and your dishes, and it's also cozy at the same time. Next up, we have A Kiss in the Maldives. Now this is a dupe of One Umbrella for Two. I think I have that right. And I love this one because he also added some ozonic notes to it. So it's not an exact copy. And that fragrance, the bottle is so pretty. The OG, it's such a gorgeous bottle. It's one I'd probably like to have in my collection one day. But this has a little bit of a rice note in it. And the tea with those ozonic notes. So I've always said what this reminds me of is like you have a little hut on a beach, and you have like maybe like one little light strand in there, and the sun is setting, and you can kind of hear the ocean, and it starts to rain, and for some reason you're stranded on an island with a really, really gorgeous man, and you're making out in the rain, and you've got like a little pot boiling in your hut. This is so specific, with your tea and your rice. It's sensual in a way. It's sexy. There's something almost like humid about it. That's why I think of the rain. And it is called A Kiss in the Maldives. And that's just, I don't know why we're stranded on an island with a really hot man in a hut where we got all the supplies. But this is the fragrance that I'm wearing. I love this one. Okay, next up we have this. These are the two samples. So this is Kierin NYC Sunday Brunch. And this is one that I keep thinking, I want a full size, and then I try to talk myself out of it because I do have others that smell really similar. But this one has a little bit more of I feel like a perfumey vibe to it. I really do picture like a socialite going to brunch in New York whenever I smell this. But instead of having a mimosa, a Bloody Mary, a coffee, she's having a tea with her brunch, but she's still really lively and fun and sophisticated. And maybe after brunch, maybe she even works on like a Sunday and she goes to work, because this does have some sort of like classic perfume to it as well. Now I'm talking myself into wanting a full size, of course, but I really do enjoy that one. Then this came in the Discovery set from Vilhelm. This is Dear Polly. And this is another one that I keep going back and forth on getting a full size, but man, this is so good. And don't you guys worry about me. I cannot overspray myself with tea fragrances. The other day when I was getting these out, I kept spraying them, and I probably sprayed like 20 of them. And I was just like, I smell amazing. But this one has a little bit of more earthiness to it as well. I believe it has like some moss in the base. It has a little bit of brightness at the top. I think it's probably like lemon or bergamot, maybe some crisp apple in it. I don't know. I go back and forth because I do really like this one, but this is a pricier brand in fragrance. And I'm like, I love it, but I think possibly some of my other tea fragrances are a little bit better for the price. But if you're looking to buy a Vilhelm perfume and you like tea, then I highly recommend Dear Polly. All right, I looked over at my tray and I happened to see these three caught my eye, and they're all three matcha fragrances, so might as well talk about them. And they're all three really affordable too. So we have the Matcha by Solely Notes, and this one's definitely more earthy. I'm thinking that there's something, maybe, I don't know if neroli is in here or not, but it's a little bit more bitter, but sometimes I like a bitter tea. So I'm not saying bitter in a bad way, but I wouldn't say it's like fluffy. It's not one of the cozy ones. This is more like on a hot day. I think this really, really thrives in the heat. I do remember wearing this by the pool the first day that I got it and thinking it performed really, really well. There might be some citrus in here too. Then we have the Matcha, also by Le Monde Gourmand. Okay, this one's a little bit sweeter. I'm not sure if there's something vanillic in here, but it still has like kind of that zingy energy to it as well. So again, I would put this more in like a warmer weather matcha, something in the sunshine, something making it a little bit bright and giving it more of like an energy feel again than like a cozy tea. And then we have Matcha Cloud, and this is by Mochi Glow, and they do a bunch of Chinese Asian inspired dishes, and so they have the element of rice in here. This one has almost a popped corn, and I don't, not popcorn with butter and all that, but just a popped kernel corn to it. And I think that's probably the starchy rice, but something about it gives, even like pops, the cereal, the Kellogg cereal pops. I'm almost getting puffed corn. Maybe I should say that, like a puffed corn, a puffed rice. Maybe it's Rice Krispie I'm smelling a little bit in here with the matcha. It's a really unique fragrance. There's something slightly lactonic in here as well, but not overly milky. This one's more of your cozy matcha tea. All right, next up is one of my loves. This is Indigo by Nest. And I think this might have been what really got me loving tea fragrances. And I think when I first sprayed this, I knew nothing about it back then. It was maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago or so. Maybe 3.5, 4 years ago. And I remember when I sprayed it, I just thought it smelled blue, which, I mean, it's called indigo. But I was like, ooh, it's like a blue fragrance, not an aquatic blue. So it didn't have that blue ocean spray sort of vibe to it. It smelled like a deep, juicy blue fragrance. I know my son, whenever I was wearing this a lot back then, thought I smelled either like blueberries or blueberry juice, but it's tea in here with some cardamom and also some fig. So I think that fruitiness of the fig is what's giving it almost a blueberry vibe. And then you have some citrus at the top. And when you combine citrus with blueberry, I know blueberry's not in here, but when you combine those two, it's magic. If you've never tried it, try it. And so I think it's just this, it smells like a blueberry tea to me. I think it's so, so beautiful. It's like electric. This is one that I feel like it gives me a lot of energy whenever I wear it. Then contrarily, we have After Sun by Vacation. This one has tea, but it also is such a cool, calm fragrance. The tea is kind of in the background on this. There's also some gin, I think, maybe mint and cucumber. This one came after their classic Vacation, which is like their ultimate pool beachside fragrance. And then this is meant to be, okay, after the sun goes down to cool off, you would wear this. And it really does have like such a cooling scent sensation to it. It's very fresh and zen-like. All right, these next two I talked about in a recent video and compared them, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just know I love them both, and they are different from each other. They're not exactly the same. But we have Lattafa's Dynasty, brand new fragrance. Both of these do have Rooibos tea in it. And this one is a little bit more masculine, for sure, but I absolutely love this. You have something a little bit spicy in here, a little bit woody in it. And it's one of those that I think gets better and better on the skin. Men out there, I highly recommend it. And women that like a masculine leaning fragrance that you can still wear with tea, I highly recommend that. And then the Chris Collins African Rooibos, I think is one of the best tea fragrances out there. This one has the whole kind of essence of what tea is, meaning it has a sort of herbal quality. It has this cozy quality, a little bit of spice to it. It's very relaxing. It smells almost like holidays to me. Like if you are serving tea during the holidays, like you're decorating, your little tea kettle's on, you would almost swear there was like a cinnamon stick in this or something. It is so beautiful, elegant, classy. Highly recommend this one. It is a little bit more pricey, but I just love Chris Collins fragrances. Okay, next up is Hassat by Al Absar. Now, this is not overtly a tea fragrance at all. This is a dupe for the Black Opium, the red Black Opium. And I actually really like this. And it's the only opium-like fragrance that I like, because the patchouli and Black Opium is just too much. And the patchouli is really toned down in this one. It's more of a vanilla coffee sort of a scent with a little bit of cherry, but there is tea in this sort of in the background. And I do like what it's doing for the fragrance. I think it kind of neutralizes some of the sweetness that would be in here. Maybe it's even what's cutting into the patchouli and making it really wearable for me. This is a very like sexy, sensual date night, fall, winter fragrance. Not super tea heavy, but tea is in there. Then this is Nikolai, the perfumer Nikolai, or the perfume house Nikolai, I should say. This is fig tea, and this one is very soft. This would maybe be a really good beginner's tea fragrance and even a beginning fig fragrance for people, because it is kind of like a sit close to the skin. It's very elegant. It's very classy. It's not overly done in either way. So it's not too herbal. It's not too bitter green fig, but it's really fresh and soft and it smells expensive. I got a really good deal on this. I think either Fragrance Net or Max Aroma, and I've been really enjoying it, but it does sit a little bit closer to the skin. So if you're someone that doesn't like a really strong fragrance, or you don't know if you want a strong fig or tea fragrance, I would recommend the Nikolai Fig Tea. Then we have the Valentino Born in Roma Green Extravaganza. And this is a vanilla fragrance, but it does have a tea note in here, and it just brings a little bit of green earthiness to the vanilla. It's a very simple fragrance actually, but I think it's so beautifully done in its simplicity. So it's like if you wanted to add just a little something to your vanilla, then you add a little bit of tea and you get Green Extravaganza. All right, this is a newer one to my collection. This is Memo Paris's Winter Palace. Bottle is super beautiful. I did blind buy this and I was really surprised by this, and I liked it right away, but it also took me a moment because I had to think, okay, this is a winter tea fragrance. I think like the ultimate winter tea fragrance, and it is called Winter Palace. But this one has mate tea and red tea. I think it has a little bit of citrus at the top, but then it also has some vanilla and some benzoin and labdanum. So it kind of has this thicker base to it, this sort of like balsamic thicker vanilla base, and I'd never really experienced the two. I mean, a lot of times tea is really bright and like almost thinned out. The fragrance, you can smell really fresh. Even when it's cozy, it doesn't quite feel heavy. This one smells heavier, but I really, really like it. And I thought, this is going to be delightful whenever it's cold. This is a curl up in a blanket, or even be out and about whenever you want it to kind of be sustained, your fragrance. You're like, I want a tea fragrance in the snow. You're going to wear Winter Palace. All right, next one is Tea Temptation by Vivo More. This is an Earl Grey tea fragrance with some violet leaves, some cardamom, a little bit of citrus. It also has an amberette in it that I think the combo of the tea and the amberette, once the amberette kicks in the base, this is so addictive. It is so beautiful. In the opening, it's kind of bitter. It is a little bit bitter, and I think that's coming from just that Earl Grey tea being really dominant with the violet leaf, perhaps. But that amberette, oh my goodness. It's one of those that when I wear it, I cannot stop smelling my wrist. I think it's phenomenal. It's truly one of my favorites. Then by Kors, we have Vanilla Freesia. Now, this is another one that's kind of stretching. I mean, there's tea in it, but truly, this is not like an obvious tea smelling fragrance at all. This one has notes on the top. It's bergamot, tea, lychee, jasmine, peach, freesia, vanilla, patchouli, and musk. It's really hard to smell tea in here, to be honest. I think I smell mostly the bergamot, the jasmine, maybe a hint of the peach. The freesia is really, really subtle. And then the vanilla and the musk. The patchouli doesn't really stand out in here, which is a good thing, in my opinion. There's something slightly herbal in it and fresh, and I'm assuming that's the tea, but it's a very, very subtle. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's not overly vanilla. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly floral. It's kind of one of those where like all the notes just kind of meld together and like none truly stand out a lot, but it smells really good. So that is Kors Vanilla Freesia. And then we have Net the Vanille. And it's funny because when I got this in a discovery set several years ago, it didn't really stand out to me. And I purchased that discovery set, and then they sent me one several months back, and it was in there, and I re-smelled it and thought, why didn't I fall in love with that? This is a matcha tea vanilla fragrance, and it's so pretty. So if matcha can be a little too powdery green for you, this one is much more toned down. The vanilla plays in really nicely, so it's not one of those like citrusy teas. It's not too herbally smelling. It's kind of a perfect balance, and it does still kind of smell perfumey in just a really, really pretty way. All right, guys, trucking along here with these 40 fragrances. We have Be Rosy by Rosie and Ernest. This one I had to remind myself. I was like, I'm pretty sure it has tea in it, but let me make sure. And it does, but it's very, very subtle. This one, I get more of this soft, like sweater-like a cardigan that's really soft cashmere. It's very, very smooth. Carrot, orris, a little bit of tea. I think there's probably some musk in here, maybe a little amber. This is a ultimate like skin scent, curl up, read a book, be cozy, really any time of year, but I think like even in the cool weather would be beautiful. Much more of like a skin scent to it. It's one of the, out of all the fragrances I have, one that just evokes that soft cashmere cardigan type of a fragrance. It's so beautiful, but not everyone else is going to smell this on you. You have to just want to smell this yourself, and you will love Be Rosy. Then we have Classic English Tea by Dua. This was a dupe of a Roja fragrance that was like crazy expensive. It's escaping me what the OG was called, but it was one of those where like they only made like a limited amount like 50 or 80 or something and sold it for an astronomical amount, like over $1,000. And this is your like snooty English countryside tea fragrance that this is one of the most herbal, sharp at the opening fragrances that drives down. It does not drive down. It dries down in the most beautiful way, and it smells like royalty. It smells like you are British royalty, proper tea fragrance. You got the hounds in the yard. You got the whole attire and everything. That is classic English tea. I can speak. Okay, then we have ALEISHAGOMEZ Vanilla Rooibos Tea Latte. I really love a Rooibos tea a lot. And this one is, it's so good. This one has a really interesting kind of balsamic quality to it. And it has a little bit of milk and almond. And it's one of my most unique tea fragrances, I would say. So it's slightly lactonic. There's a little honey in there as well. It's another one of my cozy ones, and it doesn't smell like all of the rest for sure. And then we also have lavender milk tea. So this was the first one that really put ALEISHAGOMEZ on the map. This is another one of my classic go-tos when I want something really calming. I wore this on roller coasters. I had the sample. My kids getting on crazy roller coasters, making me get on them. And I put this on because lavender, milk, and tea are all 3 notes and 3 things in life that are very like calming to the senses. So you put all those together and you get this just kind of dreamy, also a perfect bedtime scent. All right, I'm going to talk about these 4 pretty quickly because do you really need all of the Elizabeth Arden flankers? You probably don't, because they're not that different from each other, but I think all of them are so good. I think they're one of the most underrated, affordable fragrances, especially most underrated, affordable tea fragrance. But I love this white tea. So these are all flankers of green tea. The white tea, though, to me is just, I don't know, it's just a cut above the rest. While the other 3 have more of that really energetic green tea vibe to it, like wear it in the sunshine, wear it to the gym, like when you want to be energized. The white tea Elizabeth Arden is much more kind of calming, zen, like spa-like scent. I mean, it really smells like something they would pump through a spa. This is a great bedtime scent. I also think the bottle is, you know, for an affordable fragrance, I think it's really pretty. This is the Eau de Parfum. There is an EDT. I recommend the Eau de Parfum for sure. And then we have the green tea flankers. So we have the original green tea, we have the Pistachio Crunch, and then we have the Coconut Breeze. I love all 3 of these. It is just that ultimate zingy, citrusy, bright green tea, make you want to get up and like work out in the sun, in my opinion. And then the pistachio one, it's weird. I had a whole video on it by itself, but the pistachio is like undetectable, I'd say 80% of the time that you wear it. But it's one of those where the pistachio will come in and out all throughout the wear of it, about like a 4-hour wear. You'll just 30 minutes in, catch a whiff, it'll disappear. But the fragrance maintains the whole time, but just the pistachio will be kind of in and out. But I think it's really good. And then the Coconut Breeze is not overly coconut. So if you aren't like a big coconut person, I think it's very subtle. Yeah, it's very subtle in here. It's more like a green coconut as well. It's not like the creamy coconut, sweet coconut, coconut milk. It is like the greenest part of the coconut. Okay, funny story real quick about these 2. The Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Summer Vibes and then Capri in Love. I ran into an Ulta one day, sprayed it, thought it smelled so good, and didn't remember which one it was. Had no clue, so I ordered both. That's what I do. Don't advise that. They are very different. So the Capri in Love, this is going to be the most honest, strangest review of this. This smells like a Motel 6 tea fragrance. And you'd think that would be bad, but there's something addictive about it. It's very musty. Not musky, but it's a musty tea fragrance that in the opening, you're kind of like, I smell Motel 6. I smell like dingy carpet and like maybe the pool's down the hall and like the chlorine is too much, but someone is drinking tea in the hallway. But as it dries down, it gets pretty on the skin and I like it. And I stand by that, but I don't recommend it to everyone. I could see why you wouldn't like it, but I like it. Then we have the Summer Vibes. This has a peach note in it. And to me, this is a very slightly masculine leaning fragrance. I don't think it's marketed that way. I don't think I've heard anyone say that, but there's something about this I think would be beautiful on a man. Of course, a woman can wear it too, but yeah, I just think there's something slightly masculine about it. So another one of those, if you like slightly masculine, I would recommend Summer Vibes. Capri in Love, Motel 6, Summer Vibes, slightly masculine. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite bottles. I love Merchant of Venice. This brand is so underrated. I really need to get more. I have 4. And the bottles are gorgeous. They're really affordable on your discounter sites. And Gairo Coro is such a beautiful herbal tea. So Gairo Coro is a type of tea. And this one has a little bit of a floral element going on. And it also has peach, but is definitely an unripened or like peach skin. It is not like the fruity, juicy part of the peach or the sweet part of the peach. It's definitely almost the bitterness of an unripened peach or the peach skin. And then I think it's tuberose that's in here. I'm almost positive. So you have that really pretty, delicate white tuberose, not a bubblegum tuberose, like just a genuine, fresh, blooming tuberose right in front of your face. With the tea, I think it is exotic and gorgeous and very, very underrated. And then we have one of the most beautiful bottles again in my collection. The Atelier des Ors is so beautiful. I now own 4 bottles because I can't be stopped, but I just love the gold flakes in here. This is Blue Madeleine, and this one came out at the same time as Pink Me Up. And there was a lot of discourse about which one was better, and you know, like, people seem really split on it, and I own both now. And this is a gorgeous tea fragrance. I know some people get something kind of rubbery in this, but I really don't. I get like a woody tea, and I think it's really, really pretty. So this is one I'd recommend though, getting a sample to see if you pick up on that rubbery note or that plastic note that some people do, or if it just smells like a gorgeous woody tea fragrance to you, which it does to me. Then we have Pomelo Sorrento by Gritty Fragrances. Also freaking love their bottles as well. And this is a bright pomelo. So you get like a lot of this, like tangy, juicy, almost sourish pomelo. And you also have some fig in here. It smells almost like the green stem part of the fig, or like a fig leaf almost. And it may be. I just know fig is in here. And then the tea, and there's something kind of blue about this fragrance, whereas the other one I was saying, indigo, was more of that deep dark blue. This has more like the color of the bottle. It smells like you should be sitting on like the Amalfi Coast or something. I think it's so pretty. You can almost just smell like the fresh citrus growing around you in the trees, and you're sipping a tea on the coast of Italy. Okay, and I believe this is the last one, you guys. This is number 40. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. This is Remember Me by Javoy. And I almost didn't grab this one at first because it does smell so much like Kieran's Princess. Now, I don't own Kieran's Princess, but as you saw, I have the rum drizzled apples, which is the mix of Princess with apple brandy. Then I have the dupe of just Princess in Miss Independent. So it's like, I kind of already have that, but this is so beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful tea fragrances, you guys. This is a tea fragrance where if you wanted to treat yourself, If you want tea, but you want still feminine, you want something kind of sweet, you want something kind of girly and a nice bottle, I would treat yourself to Remember Me. It is beautiful. That's it, you guys. Those are my 40 tea fragrances. Again, don't feel like you have to have this many. I hope this helps you in your tea journey. I thank you so much for watching. And as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping, and smelling fabulous. Bye.